With more on the war now nearing the 2-year mark. Hard to believe that. We are joined by retired Marine intelligence officer, national security expert, and co-host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer. Hal, good to see you.
Good to see you, Alex.
Okay, so what is this money for? And if Republicans go forward with what they're saying, if the money doesn't go through, what happens?
Well, if the money doesn't go through, it could be pretty catastrophic. Right now, Russia is throwing everything it can. The Ukrainians are fighting them off very well. They're incurring tremendous casualties on the Russian side. They're taking a lot of casualties too, but they desperately need the ammunition. They desperately need this money to pay for the ammunition. And I should mention, the money's not given to them as money primarily. It's being given to them in ways of weapons, ammunition, stuff that they use on the battlefield. The problem is that in Congress, certainly the GOP has said, look, we want all these things done on the border. We want these things done with the asylum program. And they have basically said, in so many words, they're willing to vote for the Ukrainian funding, with the exception of a few. But they do want these concessions. And that's where it's stuck right now. It just doesn't seem to be any movement on Capitol Hill.
So while that's happening, there's also a fight about how much should we fund Israel with what they're doing. There's been a change in the language recently from even President Biden when it comes to Israel and what they're doing in Gaza, basically frustrated at their bombing campaign there. Other countries are as well. What's changed in terms of the way the world sees Israel?
I think you could say the sheer amount of destruction. Israel is prosecuting a very aggressive campaign. There's a lot of bombing. The president used the term indiscriminate bombing, which has caused the White House to have to back off of that a little bit. It's not indiscriminate, but it's a lot of very discriminate bombing and phenomenal volume, 250 strikes in a day, tremendous devastation. Over 60% of urban Gaza has literally been destroyed. And the problem is that it's the ability to move Palestinian residents in Gaza into the new safe zones. There's a basic communication problem. There's basically virtually no internet across Gaza. There's no way to really call people on cell phones. And the way the information is being conveyed, saying, go here, it's very specific as to where they want the civilians to go. And there really isn't a good way to communicate to the civilians. Hence, there's a lot of civilian casualties. And that is what has got the world literally up in arms. The UN is up in arms. We're not sure how this next vote is going to go. The Security Council had only one member voting no, and that was the United States. Even Great Britain abstained. They did not vote no. So there's basically a tidal change, if you will, around the world in terms of how they view the conflict.
Well, it's interesting. The president, or the prime minister, I should say, of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, had lots of critics before October 7th, was facing corruption charges in his own country. And October 7th, there's lots of critics of the intelligence failure for that. So it'll be interesting to see going forward how long a leash he has and how much he's able to keep international support together when a lot of people were not necessarily friends with him before this whole thing started. Hal, thank you so much for your insight as always. As we mentioned, you host the Strat podcast. You're talking China on that right now, which is interesting and important. You can check it out on Spotify or wherever you find your pods. Hal Kempfer, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.